name's Saran and we're from this organisation here called Diversity Role Models. Does anyone know what today's session is about? Excellent. Homophobic bullying. Can anyone tell me what that is?
Good afternoon, my name's Emma. You may look at me and you think that I'm really, really different from you. But actually, I grew up in an area that was quite similar to this one.
My name's Hiba and I'm originally from Pakistan. I'm a Muslim. Spent some of my life in Saudi Arabia, but most of it in Northern Ireland.
So how old are you all?
12.
Some of you are 11, some of you 12. Okay, so I'm going to take you back to when I was a little bit older than you, 14, so just a couple of years older. I went to a school in Ruislip called Bishop Ramsey, and when I was about the age of 14, my friends started getting girlfriends, and that seemed interesting and that seemed what they were doing, so as is the way with peer pressure, you often follow suit. So I had a few girlfriends too. But when I used to hear my friends speak about what it was like for them and their emotions and their attractions, you know, I used to nod along, but actually I didn't feel the same. There was something different about how I felt, but I didn't understand why. I could identify that I was different, but it didn't really make any sense to me.
Most of all, I remember being really worried because I didn't want to be different. You know what it's like at a girls' school. You spend a lot of time trying to be like everybody else.
Northern Ireland's very different from London. I was one of the very few Asian students in my school, so I know what it's like to be a part of a minority and feel different.
And I was really nervous that if they thought that I was gay, that they would feel differently about me, that they would be worried about me, or they wouldn't want to change with me after gym, or they would call me a lesbian, and they'd do it in a mean way. So I lived with this kind of sense of like fear, because I thought that people would treat me differently and they wouldn't like me if they knew that I was gay.
Then I decided that now was the time. I was happy with myself. I wanted to tell the people around me, because it was important, as it is for everyone, for you just to be yourself. So I started with my female friends. I felt kind of secure that they'd be alright with it and they wouldn't mind and they'd love me regardless. And I was absolutely right. They were all great. Didn't have any problem. My male friends, a little bit more of an issue, because they'd said things in the past. You know, they'd used gay as a negative word. You know, being gay was a bad thing. Being different was bad. And then you kind of reflect and you think, well, I'm that thing that they don't like, and that's hard.
It took me a long time to feel properly comfortable talking about being gay and acknowledging to myself that I was gay. But now, you know, I'm 33 and everybody knows.
It was realising that I didn't fancy girls rather than fancying boys that made me realise. I suspect that might have been directed at me. No, not married to a man. I've been going out with someone for nearly 4 years. So he's my partner and his name is Steve. I make sure that I hold Steve's hand as often as I can in all sorts of different areas. And I live in Brixton, and I'm quite happy to walk through there and do it. There's a slight awareness that that might cause a problem, but actually it never has done. And part of the reason why I do it is because I think the more that stuff like that happens and becomes a bit more normal, the more likely people will just get over this whole thing. Because the other thing about sexuality is it really isn't a big deal. But unfortunately, it's dealt with as a big deal. But actually, when people just sort of get over it, we're just, you know, there's no real difference.
As a group of women, young women, have a huge opportunity, and you have also a bit of responsibility. You are the future. You're the women who are going to help change society. And whether you realise it or not, the way that you think and the way that you behave influences people. So the way that you talk to your friends and the way that you talk to your parents influences them. The way that you talk to the way that you behave around people, the way that you will behave with your future partners, and the way that you'll teach your children will influence society.
So I guess the point of all of this, and what I'd like to share with you, is that I've had, for the last 20 years, a wonderful life. And the reason for that was that the foundations were built on my friends. And my friends were cool, and they gave me the time of day to listen to me and to understand me. And that was great. And same for my parents. They created a world where it was fine for me to be myself. And that's my message, I suppose, to you guys, that if you ever have a friend, because the chances are the majority of you will be straight, but if you have a friend who comes to you one day and tells you that they're gay or lesbian or even transgender, listen to them, talk to them, and embrace what they have to say, because you know they're exactly the same person they were the day before they told you, and you've got the power to make sure that they have a good, enjoyable life.